Welcome to Scale With Us, the podcast for business owners navigating the absolute chaos of scaling a business and juggling all that life throws at you along the way.
Each week, we'll be talking about our wins and fails and everything in between because let's be real, it's not all smooth scaling.
So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get into it. Good afternoon. We are recording post-lunch today, so we've just come off the air, onto the air, talking about the potential of me doing a burp on the podcast. So that's a good way to get started. So we're going to go over to you first.
Just in case.
How are you going? What's
good.
happening this week? What are you drinking? What are you thinking?
I've been diving into point hacking this week.
Point hacking?
Yeah, so I wanted to see if you are also doing
I'm a hacker?
Yeah, if you're a hacker of the points. No, with the Amex and then also pay.com.au I'm using to pay for some things.
Yeah. Oh, I'm an Amex fiend, yes, but not the pay one. I remember you talking to me about that. Like where you...
It's good, but you're buying points.
Yeah.
So with the Amex, you like earn them.
Yeah.
But with pay.com, you pay for them. So you can buy one package of points or you can buy like two package of points and they like package them up.
So many packages.
Yeah. So, you've got to work out if what you're paying for the points is worth it. But anyway, I'm trying to like get some.
Do you know who's great at point hacking?
Who?
Taylor. Is
he?
Yeah. Like I'm good at collecting the points, but he's like the best at like figuring out, okay, we've got this many points. Like, here's the best way to spend them or where to fly. Like, I don't have the patience for all that. I'm just this is how many points we have. Like, here's what to do. But yeah, because I got you onto the Amex. Like, because I was always saying, oh, like, what can I do? I've got so many business expenses. You know, this sounds like they're sponsored by Amex. It's definitely not. But like, I've got so many business expenses and I'm like, you know, running them. I need to run them through a credit card. And I was running them on a credit card that had no like points whatsoever. And then, someone got me onto Amex and gosh, I think like 1 year of using it. Now I've got like, I'm flying all four of us return to the States in July. So that's
amazing.
Wild. And we've paid for some other stuff as well. And then I've got like, now I've got an Amex for business and I've got like my personal Amex as well, which we run all the expenses through. So that's just always putting Virgin points on as well. So
good.
We sat down at the start of this year and planned, okay, where do we want to go? What holidays do we go on? And we've paid for a lot on points all just through the expenses. And there's probably two schools of thought. Is it worth it? Because you've got to pay a credit card fee and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But, you know, it's almost like little forced savings there for us. And it's paid for some holidays.
So do you pay off the Amex every month?
Some months it just depends on what the
happening.
business expenses have been. Like I extended past that a little bit last year. So I owe a bit on my credit cards at the moment. And that was just, again, it was like, okay, I didn't have the cash flow to invest in like new website and all of that type of stuff. So I thought, cool, I'm going to do that, generate more business and that'll be paid off again. Like I try and keep it as close to zero as possible, but it's almost like it's like a working line of cash for me and then either pay it down to zero or just keep paying, you know, a fixed amount of it each month. So
love that.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend it. Like if you're spending the money anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and if you paying that off back to zero every month, then you can earn the points off it.
The good thing about pay.com is you can pay staff through it. Like you can do like payroll through it, and you can also pay your BAS and stuff through it, which I don't think you can do on the Amex.
You can do on Amex,
Can you? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe not staff pay, but
yeah, right.
I don't know.
I knew there was a difference there, but anyway, I haven't gone that far into it, but
so you're a new hacker.
I'm dabbling.
You're a virgin hacker.
Yeah, just dabbling at the moment.
Dabbling in some points.
It's like credit cards scare me a little bit. So
you've like double dipping on yours.
Yeah, I'm double dipping on the points, but credit cards scare me. That I'll just rack it up and then I'll be like,
Credit cards scare you, right. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Like I'll usually pay it back down. Most months. It just depends if it's been a higher cash flow. Lower cash flow, higher expense month. Sometimes it'll go a little bit over, but don't take business financial advice from me maybe.
Disclaimer.
Sorry,
do not.
if my accountant's listening, don't listen. But we forgot, like, you have a drink in front of you and you put a drink in front of me today.
Yes.
I'm not liking the bit that says 0 alcohol, but tell me about it.
Well, I just thought we should try
and drink
called
less?
I
You think we
Love.
should try and drink less? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, probably. Maybe not. So it's called I Love, and it's I Love Pink G&T cocktail. So it's 0 alcohol. It's only 5 calories. No. Yeah. 5 calories,
the sound
0
effects.
sugar. Mm,
It's a good sound.
it's a good sound for podcast.
Wish it was
Something
alcoholic
else,
too.
I know.
Oh.
Is it bad?
It's like spicy, but like in almost like a
It's not.
like a Moroccan spice kind of way, not like a spicy mug kind of way.
I mean, it's okay. Actually, I probably wouldn't recommend. Don't get this one, guys.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, look, we tried.
Yes, we did try. What about you? What have you been thinking about this week?
I have been making a real conscious effort to spend less time on my socials. I don't know if I already spoke about this a few weeks ago. I sort of like keep harping on about it because it's made such a difference, but it's like the Opal app on my phone. I think we did speak about this because then you said you couldn't get it on your phone because you've got an Android, which I still don't know like if we
Why?
can be still friends because you're an Android person and I'm a Google person. Why
yeah.
are you an Android person?
I just started on it and then I don't know.
What do we have to do to bring you over to the
No, I can't be bothered.
Apple side?
No, it's not going to happen.
Can't be bothered.
No, just can't be bothered. Then I've got to change everything.
Yeah, actually, well, because I'm like everything is like Mac world for me, so everything talks to each other and yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, it's a bit odd,
Well.
but
It's like, that's the end of the podcast, guys. We can't be friends anymore.
oh, it's like that that reel we both sent it to each other a few times where the two girls are talking about how one uses a calendar and one doesn't, and the girl who's like the girl who uses her calendar religiously for everything, and the other girl's like, no, it just leaves it up to memory. There's nothing in my calendar. And she's like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how we're friends right now. Because, like, we're both calendar people. Like, I mean, hang on. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought you were going to tell me that
But
you were like
sometimes I'm like, I've got to write, like, so on our fridge, we've got like a paper calendar.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, I don't know, we've got a few calendars going. So we've tried to consolidate into like one Google calendar.
Like a family calendar.
Like a family calendar.
Yeah.
But then we still need it on the fridge. So it's visual, like right there on the fridge for everybody. Everybody meaning
You need one of
Clinton and I.
those. I'm sure you can get like a fridge with a screen on it that could just
We've got
display
the screen, not on the
you
fridge.
have?
We've got the screen on the wall. It's called a skylight.
Yes, I've seen those
screen,
pop up on my
And it's
things.
amazing, but it's like in a really bad spot. I don't know why we put it there, but where we wanted.
It's not like we look at it all the time, so it's
Yeah.
not really working out.
It's not working out. Yeah.
So then you have another one on your fridge?
Yeah. And then oh God, yeah. I know. I need to get my life together.
Okay, how do we optimize this?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
But like, so do you and Clint, is there like a family calendar or you have individual calendars?
Well, I've got I've got a work one.
Yeah.
And then I put like work, and if I've got to do something with the girls, like I've got to take Jovi to speech or something.
Yeah.
And then we have the family one, but it's just not really being used at the moment. We use the paper one on the fridge.
And that's just for like what's on the weekend
Yep.
and type stuff. Yeah. See, I'm like, if something's not in my calendar, like I forget things if they're not in my calendar.
Yeah.
Like I'll get a message from a friend being like, hey, what time are we having dinner tonight? I'd be like, what? Like, and I didn't put it in my calendar. So
I'm good at remembering those things. I feel like I'm a little bit like that, the girl in the reel, where it's like I can remember most things.
No. It's like my brain is like a sieve.
Learning so much about you.
But it's interesting because it's like, how do you make sure that everything happens that needs to happen in the house? Like calendars for most families is going to be, you know, it's a similar pain point, I would imagine. Like I'm just trying to think for you know, I'm a single mum with 2 kids, so it's just me and my calendar. So everything is my work calendar is like the one thing. Like it's got everything as from like personal to gym to work to anything I need to remember is in there, like kids parties and everything. But now, you know, now I've got a partner in my life. If he needs to come to something or be aware of something, I just invite his personal calendar.
Yep.
It's not like he needs to know about the kids stuff as much. So
Yeah.
it's probably different when I was married. Like we went through this same thing of like, okay, do we have like a special family one, but then that was not showing up in like one of our synced calendars, and it's like it is a thing. And I'm sure I've heard of like there's apps and stuff as well. I'm like, I don't want another app.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
so the simplest way I always found is like, okay, it goes in my calendar and I invite where needed. So then it shows up in the other person's calendar.
Mm.
Like we also have like, we've got a weekly one on our fridge, but that's more, I find that's for the girls. So like at the start of the week, it's like, okay, Monday you're going to after school care. Tuesday you're going to your nan's house. Wednesday you've got dance. It's like, so they can kind of comprehend what day of the week is it, like what's happening each day. And like at the bottom, we've also got, you know, what they need to remember to pack in their bags for school so they can like have a little checklist type thing.
That's good.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
But then I forget to write that up.
Right.
And then like I remember one week I went away and I'd forgotten to update it and Mum's like, oh, like they've got this on this afternoon. I'm like, oh, no, that was like from last week. I just haven't like updated
Wiped it off.
So yeah, so anyway, how did we get onto that?
I don't know. That was what you were thinking. Oh no,
I was
Opal.
talking about my Opal app.
Yeah, I don't know.
How did we get onto
went on a
calendars?
tangent.
Oh, we were talking about, anyway, I have no idea. Anyway, what I was going to share was that my Opal app, I'm trying to spend less time on social media.
Yeah.
Oh, the Android.
Oh yeah. We've done full
Android's
loop.
evil. It just changed my whole conversation. But yes, it apparently is only available on Apple devices, but like it just locks down my whole phone. Like I used to just have it on for certain time blocks of the day and it just shuts down all your social apps and everything. And it puts a time lock on it. So if I went to go and I can't even click on Instagram. It'll just pop up and say, no, it's blocked. I have to go to the Opal app and then I have to wait. It'll say wait. You have to wait for like 45 seconds and the time gets longer each time you try to go in. So like it'll start the start of the day. It's like 15 seconds. And about this is the 5th time you tried to open Instagram. And then it makes you wait for like a minute. And then half the time I'm like, okay, I don't need it that badly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's
it's like, it's
full
really
on.
good. And then I used to just have it on for certain times, but now it's like, I've just got it on all the time. And like, I can go and turn it off if I really need to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I do need to go into Instagram for work or to check a message or whatever I convince myself is important. Or I just want to scroll. I just want to have a quick scroll. Then I go, okay, end the set, like I'll leave the session or pause the session and I'll say, how long do you want to unlock it for? And it'll have completely like turn it off or it'll have like between 0 and 15 minutes.
Wow.
And it's even then so good that like if I go, just leave the whole session, like just turn it off altogether. It's like, are you sure? It'll pop up again and say, would you prefer to just open it for 15 minutes? And then I'm like, okay. And so then after 15 minutes again, it just locks it down.
Wow, it's really doing its job there.
It really is. And like it tracks all your stats as well. Because then I remember in the last year I would have been spending, 4 or 5 hours a day on my phone, whereas now it's probably averaging around 2.
Wow. Okay. There's got to be some sort of Android version of that.
Opal app, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Or you just change to Apple.
Or
a whole company shouldn't have to change just for you, Jess.
a new business. I'm creating software now.
Oh, okay. Now you're a software. New business coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, I think it's like leads into a little bit like because we wanted to talk today about like habits and beliefs and mindset. And I know like it's actually interesting because like even with that is like I would say, I believe like I don't have enough time. But then like looking at how much time I would spend scrolling or doing things that were not important and not necessarily always looking for my business, but where if I'm wanting to be present with the kids and stuff like that, like or reading or doing something for myself, scrolling on Instagram is not, ticking any of those boxes. So I suppose it's challenged that belief that, I do have time, and I don't need to be on there all the time. Yeah. I do feel like a little bit of FOMO sometimes, a little bit out of touch and like, am I going to miss something? Yeah. But if something's important enough, I'm always going to hear about it. We thought we'd talk about, then leading into, business and being a business owner, but also I suppose
I think
juggling that with mumhood as well. It's like how important is having strong mindset and beliefs in contributing to your success. Like, what do you think about that?
I think I really had to work a lot on mine yesterday. Yesterday. We'll cut that out.
Just yesterday.
I was reading
just yesterday I worked on my mindset. I'm going really well.
I was reading the microphone. We'll cut that out. Or will we?
Leave it in.
No, last year the business was growing so fast that I really had to, I don't know, I had a lot of limiting beliefs around if I was capable of running it and growing it. And
I think we all do. Like
Yeah.
every business owner has that, right? But you
Well,
don't
I
talk
think-
about
I
it.
don't
Like you
know.
think everyone must be knowing what they're doing and
Yeah.
believing that they can do it.
Yeah.
Like what
But-
doubts did you have?
Well,
what
I just
specifically?
I had a lot of people saying, "Oh, you're doing so well, and how did you do it?" And I'm going, I don't like really know. Like at the time, I was just like, I don't know. I just
Did you believe you were doing as well as what other people thought you were doing? Or did you
No.
feel like that imposter kind of
oh,
feeling?
massively, yeah,
Yeah.
massive. What about you?
Oh, all
You've
the time.
done NLP and things, so I feel like you're better equipped.
Yes, just yesterday. But like, I mean, I'm aware, like I've done, like NLP, like coaching qualifications, like a lot of work on that mindset piece, but still, I was going to say fall victim to limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome, but that's part of it, is actually not being the victim, is taking
Yeah.
control and realizing that you have the power to shift your mindset in all of that, right? Like it's not happening to me. Like I have power to create change and create shift.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I mean, literally, probably not joking, but no jokes aside, like within the last day, probably within the last yesterday or the day before, like I would have had similar thoughts or doubts, like, oh, people are saying I'm doing really well, but like, am I?
yeah,
Or like I'm not doing doing that well, am I?
Yeah.
Or I think it's that it's imposter syndrome, but it's that self belief. Like it's something that it's not consistent. You can't maintain it 24/7, and
Yeah.
you might have a bit of strong self belief for a little while, but then a new challenge comes along, or something else comes along, or maybe you're just tired and having a bad week,
yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
I
go through these waves of like I have it, but then something will happen, or I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it, but like someone will say, "Oh, how did you do it?" Or how did you get started? And I'm like, I just did it. And then they're like, "Oh, I've been thinking about starting a business." I'm like, "Well, just do it. Like, just literally start. Like, you can do it too." So it's
Yeah, but I mean, it's even that there was a just do it, but there was probably, you sought opinions, like you probably had to really like push yourself to do that. I think it's like, even thinking back to when we started the podcast, like I remember the night before it came out.
I remember
Messaging you, and I was like having a massive mentee bee at home, like like just, oh my God, like we can't put this out. Like what if I sound stupid? Like what if what if
it was
people
the
think?
trailer, wasn't it?
Oh,
Was it the
even probably
trailer?
just the trailer. Yeah, I was
You're like all of it.
all of it. I was just like, I just had that massive, like it just hit me,
Yeah.
and I was overwhelmed by that self-doubt and who am I to do this, and what are people going to think, and it was crazy how much I like slipped into that, like
Yeah, I
a
did
thought, like
too.
the thought
Yep.
spiral all around that, and like once you start on the negative thought spiral, then you even get like critical of yourself, going like, oh well, like I shouldn't be feeling this way, and like it's just this negative spiral that you get stuck in.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky enough, I've got a really amazing supportive partner who took me off the ledge and made me realize that no, I am doing all right, and it all sounds and looks
good
really
old
good,
Taylor.
and luckily you, who I'm doing the podcast with, were like, hey, it's good, we're gonna be okay.
We're fine.
But like that's an important part of having a strong support network around you, is sometimes you can catch yourself in it and kind of go, okay, I'm definitely overthinking this right now. But sometimes you need someone to be like, whoa, hey, like pause the spiral.
Yeah.
Like everything's going to be okay. And like we've both had that at various times. I think luckily for our friendship, usually only one of us is spiraling.
Yeah, not both of us at the same time.
I don't think we've had a time where we're both like, oh my God, everything sucks and I want to burn it all down and I can't do it. Because I think usually the other one's been stronger to help the other one through it. And I think that's what's so important, to have people around you in business, because like you can't do it alone.
Yeah, for sure.
You need someone else to see that belief in you sometimes as well.
That you don't see in yourself.
Yeah. But in saying that, it's like what I was saying before, I think there is a lot of self-responsibility that each individual needs to take if you are struggling or stuck in, you know, limiting beliefs, or you can recognize, oh, the way I'm thinking about this or behaving or believing is limiting like where I want to get to, then you got to do some work on yourself. Like I don't know, like I think I believe that the success of a business is it can't outgrow the beliefs and strength of the person running it. Like
totally. And I think that's why, like we talk about, I think it was the last podcast, like delegating, and Dan Martell talks about that a lot. It's like, if you're buying back your time, the thing that you should be focusing on with that time is growing yourself and like learning, and because that's what will push the business forward and yourself forward. And if you're always growing and changing, that's what you should be spending your time on, because that you'll get the most out of it.
Well, get that return for yourself.
Yeah.
Like compound effect if you're able to keep evolving yourself. Because like I don't think we're ever done. And that's the whole thing. It's like you said, oh, you've done like NLP. I'm like, yeah, I've done NLP. I understand how
but it's not done.
The mind works and how the beliefs are and all of that sort of thing. And I might get on top of a certain belief that I have. But then something else comes along and that triggers you because of beliefs that you have from the past, and it can just send you on a whole another tangent. But that's why I've always, you know, in my real recent years, always practiced that self-development, but also, you know, got therapy, like, you know, looked into, you know, ways to be diving into how to unpack that stuff and not stay stuck in it. Because the staying stuckness, then it's not just for me, it's for my business and everything.
Business and team and
and like, you know, other people, like, you know, I've had a session second half of last year with Tanja Lee. You know, she really helped me unpack a lot of, like, I was really stuck with almost like that self-belief and putting myself out there. I was holding myself back in so many ways. And she's got a beautiful process called The Shift that she does with her clients. And that was really transformational for me to be able to just see myself differently and be able to go, you know what, I'm just going to put myself out there. And there's, you know, still things from that and also past coaching and therapy that I've had done that, like, it still comes back to me day after day when I do have those limiting beliefs and moments of self-doubt.
Can you remember a time in business when you feel like it's really held you back and the growth of your business?
Definitely last year. That's probably like why I reached out for help. And that, but there's been several times where I've gone, hey, I'm stuck here. Like there's something I need to move through to be able to take my business to the next level. And I think that it does, like for me, like a lot of my business is that personal brand and putting myself out there and showing up on camera and socials and, you know, other people looking to me for advice and guidance and strength. So it's almost like for me, I'm like, I know I have to be my best version of myself to be able to want to show up on socials, because a lot of days, like, I don't want to. Like, I get that social media burnout and fatigue. It's like, I don't want to show up today, or like, who wants to hear from me today?
I feel like that all the time.
But I have to, wherever I'm stuck with that, it's usually highlighting something for me that like I need to work through. And sometimes it's like, actually, I just don't want to share anymore. Like and it's usually a sign that I'm missing some time to myself. Like I haven't spent enough time on me and myself. It's like, well, I don't want to share anything out there with anybody else because I'm realizing I don't have enough time for me right now. And so it's like, that's usually when I've got that real hesitation about showing up on my stories or doing something. I have to go, what's this telling me? Like, what do I need right now?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not just pushing through. It's like, actually, you know, pull back and do some inner work to be able to move through it.
Yeah. It's funny, I had lunch the other day with a friend of mine, and I met him in Bali a couple of years ago at our business coaches retreat, and he was over this side of Australia because he lives in Perth, and he's really good at messaging and marketing and things. And so we were talking about my business and like the next stage of like working with bigger businesses that need to grow teams instead of looking for the business owners that just need one VA. It's more the bigger teams. And he was like, why do you keep going back to talking to business owners on your socials about one VA, or this is the list of 10 things a VA could do for you, when you should be talking about growing teams. And I said, I don't know, that's very safe for me, because I feel like it's done so well for my business to get it here. He's like, yeah, but they're the clients that don't hang around for very long. They're not, they don't see value in having, growing your team. And so, yeah, I feel like
Did you not believe that you could help the bigger ones? Or
yeah, I feel like I know I can, but.
And that's how you started.
I know, right?
So wild.
And that's exactly what he said. He's like, didn't you start by
Running
growing
big
teams of VAs? And I was like, yes.
Yes, you're
But
right.
I think
It's good reflection.
I know, right? But yeah, like I feel like speaking to those people on socials and in content and emails and things, they've been in business a long time, a lot of them, and I've only been in business 2 years. So I still have a bit of that mindset, like, am I good enough? What can I...
Because their business is like older than your business.
Yeah. Even though like I've grown to a team of 11 now in my direct team that work for me in 2 years. So it is crazy. But yeah, I still have a bit of that like, ooh, I don't know, it just feels... So something I've got to work through, I guess.
Well, it is. And that's like, heading into this year, like is that something that you do feel like you need to work on? And then what are you going to do to work through that? Like, how are you going to work through it?
Again, I think I've just got to start. Like, I've got to not start like I've started, but
yesterday.
Just yeah. No, like
will you get help?
Just,
like, is that something you feel like it's something that, okay, cool, I can do it. Like, I know it's something I need to work through, or is that something you feel you need to get some help? I think I did the work last year with recognizing what the block is and how to work through it. I feel like I did that work. I could possibly speak to someone, and I have a lovely lady named Taryn who helps with those sorts of things. I haven't seen her for a while, haven't needed to. So I could possibly speak to her about it. But I think I know what the problem is. And I think if I start, and I just need to build up that confidence of like, I can do it. I've just done it for myself. I've built a big team. I've, build out some resources, and I think I just know where the goal is now. So if I just start heading towards that, it'll just help. So it's more just it's more just a case of like you've already done the work to identify it. And it maybe it's like, okay, well, I recognize I've just got to do the uncomfortable things and put myself out there till that feels comfortable. And there's always those levels. Yeah, there's probably several iterations of that you'll go through and that you have gone through to start and become a business owner.
Yeah,
it's almost like that. What's that model? That confidence model. And it's like, when you start something, you don't even know what you don't know, and then you get so confident in it that one day this conversation will be completely null and void because you just won't even realize how good you are at doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it comes from doing the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I've starting to do a lot more consulting with business owners on this. And the more that I talk to other people or like other business owners, they're like, yes, like I need your help. I need help recognizing what the next hire is, or how to restructure the team, or, how to get the best use out of this team member and what we can delegate. And so I think the more of that, I do, the easier it'll come.
And it's like believing that you can get better at it, like that you're not fixed. And like I talk a lot about in my trainings, whether it's for property managers or for the business owners, the importance of having like more of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Like I know for me, I would have definitely been more fixed mindset, I'd say like 10, 15 years ago. And they're like, oh, well, things are the way they are. I'm the way I am.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
There's nothing to do or change.
Yeah. Now I'm always listening to podcasts and always researching things, and you've got to have that growth mindset for sure.
Any good mindset podcast recommendations?
Excuse me. Mindset. I just like business. Business.
Love business all day, every day.
Business podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is anyone that you can think of that speaks well to like business mindset?
Dan Martell. Yeah, I love his. Also, Matt Steinway, he's he's just renamed it. Chasing Optimism, I think. No, I can't remember what it's called. It was the 31-minute podcast. He's just changed it. But he's obviously in the industry, in real estate, but he's done so much mindset and belief work and all of that, and he talks about it a lot. So it's really, really good. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like if you don't want to necessarily go get therapy or coaching or anything like that, like there's a lot of things that you can listen to and read that I think that can help you kind of go, oh yeah, I can recognize myself in that. And if anything else, that just brings awareness to, okay, yeah, maybe that is something that I am struggling with. And there's so many of those podcasts that dive into, you know, habits and strategies. Like getting help is one thing, but it's also really looking at your day-to-day, you know, habits and how you're showing up and looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're completely stressed and overwhelmed and, you know, just running around in burnout mode all the time, it's going to be very hard for you to have a positive growth mindset because you're probably going to be spending more time in, oh, like I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, like poor me, like it's, you know, everything's happening to you as opposed to you taking control and going, okay, well, how do I want to feel? Like, how do I want my days to look? How do I want my business to go? And really taking ownership to go, well, I have the power to change all of that. And like, it's hard because I know like I would listen to someone saying this like 10 years ago and like, or like 5 years ago, even when I was in the depths of new mumhood, and go, oh, that's all good. But like, I'm a tired, exhausted mum and like, I have no time and all of that sort of stuff. But it's not an overnight thing, but slowly it's clawing back some of that control and making sure that, okay, well, for me to be a good mom and a good business owner, like I have to fit that own, you know, so it's saying got to fit the oxygen mask before helping others. And that's why I always say,
true.
Everyone's like, oh, just fill up your own cup. And I'm like, well, that's nice. But, you know, it's actually more than like, if I have to fit my own oxygen mask, okay, what do I need to do so that I can feel at my, maybe not my best, but like that I'm operating at, you know, the best possible level for whatever stage of life or the week or the month or whatever it is that I'm going through. And that it's hard. Like it's harder to do that than just sit in the overwhelm. It's harder to go, okay, well, I'm going to have to make some changes to what I'm doing day to day or how I'm doing things or who I'm being.
Yeah.
And I talk about that a lot in my like mindset sessions for the business owners. It's like who you are being each day, like that might need to shift for you to go to the next level. Because if you're operating in old ways and patterns that aren't, you know, optimal for running a business and showing up for your, you know, we talked about team last week, right? Even being a great leader for your team. If you're running into the office every day or on your online meetings and you're cranky and overwhelmed and short and...
Oh, the flow down effect of that.
The flow down effect's huge, right? There's that saying, the fish rots from the head.
Yeah.
So I think we have that. It's a self-responsibility. No one's coming to save you.
Yeah.
Like you have to take control and responsibility. If you're not happy with how things are, you have the power to change it.
Totally.
Yeah.
So looking forward for the rest of this year, what will you be doing to work on yourself?
At this point of recording, I feel like my mindset's good right now.
That's amazing. That's so good.
Yeah. But that it's not it's fluid, right? As I said, you asked me yesterday or maybe tomorrow, like I'm in a good frame of mind today. But I would say, you know, it's not anything that I've done today that's led to that. It's the boring everyday work of reflecting. It's making sure that I'm being self-aware. It's making time and space, like less time, like honestly, less time on social media has had a very big positive impact on my mindset. Like not only do I feel calmer and less frantic, it's almost like because I'm not starting the day, like I'm very conscious while not starting and finishing the day with the socials. It's like my mind's having a chance to go, okay, how do I want today to go? Like it's having some space throughout the day where I'm not just using any spare second I had for scrolling. I'm reflecting, I'm pondering. Like there's time for reflection. And I think that that's making sure that's in my everyday
Yep.
is been like it's not like this overnight suddenly like, oh, I haven't spent time on social media today. It's instant. It's like I've just like, it's like the other day I was just like, oh yeah, my mindset's like pretty good at the moment. And I reflect again on that and go, I wonder why that is.
Why? Yeah.
Oh, well, I have been spending less time on socials. I've been really consistent, you know, with my exercise. I've been trying to get, you know, better sleep and more sleep. So it's like the things that I'm doing are having a more positive effect on that.
Yeah.
And so I don't like, as of today and right now, I don't feel like I've got like a real major current challenge.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like on the belief side of things, it's like I've probably got like 2 goals in mind, like for the business this year. I've got like what would be, okay, cool. Like that's an achievable goal. Like I think we can get there. And then there's like a goal, which is like probably like double that, which would be like, you know, the absolute dream goal, right? It's, you know, the difference between, you know, it's basically doubling what the goal would be.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm too practical and I'm like, oh, that could never happen. Whereas there's a way it could happen.
Yeah.
There's anytime
let's make it happen.
Anytime someone comes to me.
What do we need to do?
Well, I think that's what I'm saying. I think the first thing is I need to believe it's possible.
Yeah.
I believe the first goal is possible because I'm very practical and I'm like anytime I'm the annoying person. You come up with like a business idea and I'm like, oh, that's great, but how? And the logistics and and everyone's like, don't get into the detail, like stay up here in the creative. And I'm already thinking around, okay, well, operationally that's very tricky and blah, 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 blah. Like, so I think like my belief needs to shift to go, well, it is possible for me to create, you know, like $1 million coaching business where it's just me and a few team members. Like it's 100% possible. And I know that because there's other people doing it.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't believe that that's possible for me.
Oh, it so is.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, you know, I've got goals, you know, for around half of that, but it's sort of like, and that feels achievable with the trajectory that we're on. But it's for me that belief of like anything is possible.
Yeah.
And so how am I going to work through that? I think it's probably continuing on the path that I'm on and making sure that I'm looking after myself and my mind and all those things that we're talking about. But I would say I feel like there'll be something I need to do, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's more coaching or, I don't know, some sort of, you know, therapy or energy healing, that there's a blockage there somewhere.
Yeah.
Which, you know, energy healing might sound a bit woo-woo, but like
I was going to say, let's talk about that.
Well, there's been so many times where it's like you know, I've done like talk therapy and you can talk through things. Some of them like I don't really know what the blockage is that's stopping me from believing that.
And that's energy healing?
Sometimes,
I've never done it.
Yeah. Well, there's energy healers, there's kinesiologists, there's a whole range of people.
What do they do with energy healing?
Like get in there and block it out. Like I've done all sorts of things. I've even done like mushroom therapy, all sorts of things.
You have?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Eating mushrooms?
Well, yeah, you do it's like.
Oh, this is fun. Guess what we're doing after this?
It's not like recreational though. Like it's in a, you know, you kind of like, it's like a full day therapy session and you unlock and unpack and like I move through so many things.
Oh, I've done like full day or like 2 day like NLP session things. Like,
yeah, but like think about how much when you deep dive into stuff, how much you can unblock and work through, right? So I don't know if it's, I don't know, like what that is. Like I did my NLP like many years ago. There's something in me that really wants to go back and do like the next level of that or do a refresher on that. And I think I would probably unpack what, you know, through so many of the processes that they teach you, like there would definitely be something in there that would probably. We should do it
together because I've tried to get Clint involved in a couple of the like one day ones and he's just not into it.
Yeah. Bit woo woo for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whereas like the first one I did, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did it with Paul and Juliet from Evolve and Relaunch or something.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the show notes, but
yeah,
they're incredible. And so I did a 2-day one with them. Actually, I met them over in Bali at Steph and Tim's Success School retreat. And then they gave everyone like a bit of a deal if you wanted to do this 2-day thing. So then I did their 2-day thing and that was like incredible. Even Clint after that, that's how I got him to do the 1-day one with me because he was like.
But he didn't like it? Or
I
just
don't
wasn't his
know.
jam?
It just wasn't his jam. But he saw the change in me directly after that 2-day one.
What was the biggest change? Like, was it?
I was just so, I was happy. I was confident. I was like, we can do anything. Like this business is going to go crazy. Like I was just so, and like I can do it. Like I know I can do it. And then I was like, because they had like a 5-day one, and I was like, let's rent a villa in Bali and we'll stay there for the
Just
week
go
and we'll
full.
do it. Yeah, like full into it. And he was like, okay. But then we did a 1-day one, and he was just like, yeah.
He's like,
But
cool. I can
stuff
see it's
like-
working for you.
yeah,
You do you.
Stuff did come up for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, not as he
It
didn't
depends
want
on
to
the
deep dive
pathway.
into
Yeah,
it.
I think you've got to be really willing to
Open up.
explore it and
Yeah.
like want to do it. Like I don't know, like anytime
Yeah.
you. Not saying you like dragged him along, but like he
Yeah, a little
probably.
bit.
I was gonna say you did that, but like I think if maybe he had have decided on his own accord, wow, like I really want to do it. Like I think people need to really want that change
Absolutely.
for themselves.
Yes.
To like, well, with anything really around like personal development, mindset, therapy, whatever it is. Like, you know, you hear like the stories of people who, you know, one person in the couple wants to change and the other one doesn't, and like the other person thinks that therapy's shit and one loves it because one person's like ready and willing to make the change and one's not.
Yeah.
And that can be definitely the cause of very many marriage breakdowns. I can speak firsthand to that. When one person's, you know, doing the work and the other one isn't, and that's it's that you can't lead a horse to water. Is that the saying?
Yes.
I got a saying right.
Yeah,
I always get sayings wrong.
That's right. What are we now? Episode like 10
Yeah,
or
I've
something?
got a 7 and we're
7.
7. Finally, I've got a saying right without butchering it. But yeah, I think if it's like probably if you come back to what you asked me, I think I know that there's a blockage or an up level that would need to happen for me in my business to go to the next level.
Do we need to do a retreat together?
Is this just another excuse for us to go on a holiday? I feel like we could turn anything into a reason to go on a holiday.
Sorry,
we need to
going
do our
Goldie
taxes.
for-
Better go to a hotel for a few days.
Totally.
Yeah, so I think it's more I'll be, and like I think that it's not urgent. I think the right thing will present itself at the right time, whether that is a retreat or going and getting some, you know, therapy or healing or I don't know. I don't know. Like it's not an urgent pressing thing and things are still going in a positive right direction. But I think I'll also just be really trying to be as self-aware as I can be, like when things come up, and especially if there are things that keep coming up again and again, I'm going to go and like get some help, like go back to my counselor or kinesiologist or something to just like we spoke about last week, open the can of worms. 'Cause that's unfortunately sometimes you got to get in there and go through some of the muck to be able to come out the other side. And that's what you're saying, like you got to be willing to look at some of the bits of your belief in yourself that maybe aren't the best parts.
Being a mother to 2 young girls, do you see any of that sort of stuff like popping up with them yet? Like them not believing
definitely.
they can
Like,
do something or...
yeah, definitely. It's probably like for my eldest, like my 7-year-old, like she's like Harriet will, you know, come home. She has a lot of like just traumas with the school friends already. And it's there's a lot of beliefs that you can just see getting instilled around, you know, just like girls are bloody mean. Like, you know, they're 7 and they're calling each other like fat and ugly. And, you know, so it's like, you know, seeing her believe that, she thinks she needs to like do her hair or her makeup and things, you know.
Really?
It's, already.
Wow.
And so it's truly trying to teach her how to not worry about what other people are saying.
Yeah.
Because like I always find like motherhood's reflecting. I'm like, oh well, maybe that's where all my self belief comes from. When, you know, that time I got called fat when I was, you know, in year 6 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I think that it comes up every day, and I always find that like the stuff that's coming up for the kids that triggers me the most is often like it's showing me something as well that maybe that was unresolved for me.
Oh, totally. So with Jovi, she we've had her through like OT and speech. She was quite delayed with speech and things. And so getting her that support before starting school, just to see, if we could help that along a little bit. But I look at her and I think, I remember being at school and having tutoring at school and always thinking I wasn't smart enough. And I feel like some of that is like, even comes up today of like, am I smart enough? Am I good enough to like have this business, grow this business, lead this team? And it's just funny how now I look at Jovi and I'm like, like she might need a little bit of tutoring because she is just that little bit.
And then is she going to grow up and have these same issues? Oh God,
I know,
so much comes up. But I mean a lot, and you'll know from like the NLP stuff, it's so much of what does hold us back comes from childhood.
Yeah.
There's so much that has come up for me in like therapy, whether it's, not just self-belief, but like relationships and all sorts of things that, when you unpack it, you think, oh, like, can you remember a time when, this has come up before, and you're suddenly taken back to like, oh yeah, that time at school when this happened. And
oh, timeline therapy? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I've done some timeline therapy before.
Me too.
Yeah. So it's like,
That's crazy.
It's all connected, but it's those practices is then either doing it yourself or finding people that can help you to like unhook that from who you are now, because that limitation is often tied to that younger version of yourself. Whereas if you can kind of go, okay, well, no, now I'm a 39-year-old woman who's very capable and I can handle this and appreciate the concern, but like we can get through this. We don't have to be limited by it. Like I think there's power in anyone doing some of that kind of work if you're stuck on certain things or there's repeated things that keep showing up and holding you back. There's a lot in there.
I feel like sometimes these little sessions with us are like help me work through some things.
I feel like we kind of just have it's like an open therapy line.
Yeah, with each other.
If you read back through our WhatsApp messages, it's probably, if you like, maybe a timeline map when all of our freakouts are, and we'd see that like usually one of us is stronger when the other one's weaker.
Yeah.
Except for probably like, I don't know, if our periods align on the same week.
Which do.
It's like, oh my God, we're having meltdowns at the same time. So that's probably, for the year ahead. I think I always try and make sure like for my clients, like I always try and make sure I'm incorporating like the mindset into the coaching. Like I think we're like, oh, like what's the business skills you need to get where you're going? So sure, let's like the past couple of weeks we'll talk about like marketing team, like all that kind of stuff. But
you need the mindset to execute that sort of stuff as well.
Well, we're human beings. We're not robots, and we're bound to have stuff come up, but we're also bound to have good days, bad days. It's sort of, I put a post out the other day on, it's like when you the days when like you go to the gym and you might pick up the same 10 kilogram dumbbell to do a bicep curl, and you're like, oh my God, today it's like, it feels like you're lifting a 20 kilo dumbbell, right? Whereas like last week you might have been like, yeah, cool, I can do it. But it's like, you haven't got like necessarily, your muscle hasn't changed. You haven't got stronger or weaker. It's just that week you might be tighter. You might be, haven't slept. Maybe you are hormonal. It's your period week. Like there's so many, like reasons why sometimes things feel better. Sometimes things feel tougher because of like what we've always got going on. And like, sometimes same with business. Like you might have the exact same to-do list that you did a week ago, but this week it just feels harder. Like this week it just feels more impossible. Maybe it's dealing with the same kind of tough clients that you did a week ago, but this week you're like, I'm done, I'm fed up because you're tired and exhausted. So I think I always try and make sure, and I will be this year, like continuing to make sure that there's that mindset piece brought into, like we put it in the training, but like in the coaching sessions as well. Like when we have our coaching sessions in the mastermind, sometimes someone will show up and say, oh, this is my problem or challenge. And sometimes it's not about finding a solution for that problem or challenge. It's actually, okay, well, what do you need in this moment, right? Because this is either a problem that maybe we can fix, or maybe we accept, or maybe it's just feeling bigger than
sometimes
what it is.
You've just got to accept it so you can
sometimes
move
it
on.
is.
Yeah.
It's part of doing business.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the things we get really frustrated with, and sometimes we can, okay, I can let that go. but we need the self-awareness to go, okay, is it a problem that I can fix or is it something I don't have any control over? And can I then just accept it? But that shows up in the coaching sometimes. It's not always a problem to solve. Sometimes it's something we have to accept, or something that the problem isn't the problem. It's our perception of the problem, as an example. Like, is there a different way for us to look at it? And sometimes we might be stuck looking at the same problem and just complaining and stuck in, you know.
And it's so good that you do mindset stuff in your coaching group, because so many coaches, they're just a business coach. Or just a mindset coach, but they go in like hand in hand. So
it's part of my genius zone is I can balance the, like, you know, the business and the do, and I can also bring in probably more of the, like, the woo side. So it's like combining the woo and the do in together.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I didn't make it up. I heard it somewhere, but I really always really like that, because it's sort of, as I said, I think we're not robots. Like, we are human beings working and operating, running businesses or in businesses, and same goes for team as well. Like, they are still people with lives. They're not robots as well. And, you know, I think the more you can holistically support someone to, you know, be happy in their life and how they're doing, like, the rest is going to thrive. Like, it revolves then around us as far as, you know, the vibrations that we're putting out and that kind of like woo side of things. Now we're getting really woo. But it's true, right? Like, as a business owner and leader, if you're feeling good, the vibrations that, you know, filter down to your team.
And I always try and remember that if I'm going into a meeting with them or chatting to them, sometimes I've got to check myself, like, am I bringing the right energy into this meeting? Or, you know, because I don't want to be on a call with them and be like, oh, guys, this isn't working. It's like, you have to show up for them and be. And sometimes it feels a little forced, but it's like you can't let that trickle down.
I was doing it late last year. Like, I remember specifically after a couple of our team meetings, I'm like, I am really just being a ball ache in these meetings. Like, I'm not showing up with any like energy. Like, I'm literally bringing all the exhaustion that I have, and almost like being like, oh, poor me, you know. Whereas it's like, okay, well, I'm the business owner and leader. I have to make sure that I'm managing, you know, my energy and my mindset so that they can be the best, but also because, like, they're taking care of my clients, you know, like, they're, you know, like for Grace, like, she's messaging and speaking to my clients every day. She needs to be transferring my energy onto the clients and transferring positive energy onto the clients, not my negative energy. And I think that same thing goes, you know, in business. I see a lot in business, and it's hard because I always go, okay, well, I know that business owner is tired and exhausted and juggling 25,000 things, but, you know, then they're complaining. I know, but then they're complaining, oh, my team and the culture and everything. I'm like, well, it starts with you. Like, you are the key piece, and if you don't want to be the piece, you have to get a leader or a manager in that team that can be that piece for you, because we have that responsibility.
Yeah.
It's hard. On days you don't feel like it, or you're not feeling your best.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to call it a day and, like, shut down your computer, just take an hour or two.
I had a nap at like 3 o'clock the other day.
I know. It's so good.
But I had to, because I was like, I've got nothing left. And like, I work from home, so lucky I have that luxury. But like, I never do that. And I told you afterwards, I'm like, I just had a nap and I feel so guilty. But like, I was literally zapped.
Done. Yeah.
Like, I had nothing left in my tank, brain cells, like anything I would have touched and written or communicated from that afternoon.
You would have sat there and hated everything and ended up on your phone or something. And that's not productive. You might as well have had the nap. No. You did. And then you wake up and you get the guilt a little bit. But
again, then I reflect on, like, why am I so tired? Okay, well, at the moment, or was it a few weeks ago, like, I'm staying up till 11 o'clock at night, working every night, right? I'm like getting up early, we're doing a bit of work before the kids wake up. Like, I'm not, like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so, your body needed Hermione, yes, you can take an hour nap in the afternoon if you need to. Fine. You're okay.
You'll work till 11 o'clock tonight, so take
to make up for an hour, will. But yeah, I can't remember what the point of that one was.
No, I don't know either.
Just that sometimes it's like, well, no, it's about like what you need. Like, sometimes you got to look at what do I need to show up and be able to, when to call it a day and when to go, hey, no one should talk to me from this point forward.
If you're in an office and you're the business owner and you're like, I've had enough, like, take the afternoon, go for a walk, go to the beach, have a sit down, read a book, like recharge, and then come back tomorrow happy and vibrant and everything
But
that
maybe
you need.
extend that to the team as well. Like if you can see a team members, like I've done that with my team
absolutely.
before. Like,
Yeah.
like I know they've had some personal stuff going on. I'm like, hey, just,
Like,
take
what's
the
the
afternoon.
point of them sitting there struggling through the 2 hours left that they've got to work? It's like
Take
they
the day,
can make
yeah.
the time up later if that's something for them that they want to do.
Yeah.
Like, quite often, like Sheila, she works 24/7 for me. Like that's what I feel like. And then occasionally she'll come to me. It's probably twice a year, and she'll be like, "I just need the afternoon." And I'll know exactly what she's had on, like the projects we've been doing, how long she's been working. She jumps on the weekend to process a pay for the VA that didn't go through or whatever. She's always there, but then she'll tell me when she's hitting burnout. And I love that about her because she will say.
That's good because not everyone has that awareness to know, okay, hey, put my hand up.
Yeah.
I need a day or I need an afternoon.
She should probably do it more often, and there'll be times where I'll be like, is everything okay? And
you
she'll
probably
be like,
recognise a few little signs and
Yes.
signals in the workload or
yeah,
quality.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's great like that. And I think more people should be like that. Like work hard when you've got.
Yeah, but the leader has to have
Absolutely,
that
yeah.
mindset and belief as well. And then the staff need to have the space or permission to be able to, put your hand up. And that almost needs the business owner to say to them, hey, if you're struggling, like I want to know, because otherwise it's for some, it's like this badge of honor. I can't say I'm struggling.
Yeah.
And I
like
think
mental
that's
health days should be a thing, I reckon, like 2 a year or something.
Well,
because
I think a lot of businesses do put that into their
do they?
into their
good.
like workplace packages and agreements and things now. But yeah, and it's interesting. Like it does come down to the leader. I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day. It was someone who's like, I don't care what hours you work. I don't care where you work from. Like if the work gets done, amazing. But if you need an afternoon and you want to make up that time and get the thing done some other way,
I love that. Yeah.
you're an adult. I'm not here to babysit you. And I was like, oh, that's quite empowering. Wouldn't work for everyone, but
yeah, absolutely. And yeah. I mean, we spoke about team last week, and we've got time trackers and productivity markers and things on our VAs, and we have great communication with them and the client. And a lot of our clients are like, don't track the time. Like it doesn't matter. Like they're starting before 9 o'clock. I know they're working after hours. They've got to take an hour off in the day to go and pick up their child from school. Like that's when it works really well, when there's a bit of flexibility, because that's when, if they're both working well together, like the energy and mindset of that VA is going to be, they're going to show up a lot better and work really hard for their client if they've got that.
It's like you have to be, I think you have to have done the work as a leader and a business owner to have that
Absolutely
trust and not,
it's got to be
we
earned
spoke
as
about like the
well.
micromanagement and that type of thing. I think, it has to be earned. I think that's important.
You can't just come in the first day and be like, this is what I want to do. It's got to be earned,
Yeah, it's tricky. Well, there's a lot more on management mindset there as well, I think.
Oh, maybe another episode.
Unpack another day.
Yes.
Shall we get our shake it
actually,
up cocktail questions?
pass it to me because that's awkward.
I feel like I can't move this thing. I probably could just
No.
move it for a second. I don't want to stuff up the sound guy's setup.
Well, I just realised before that you're always reading them. So,
Yeah, it's your turn.
ooh, what's the best investment you've ever made in your business?
Or should I say VAs?
I was
obviously,
going to
by
say,
Agent Sync.
say your team.
VAs from Agent Sync, obviously. agentsync.com.au. I mean, I would say yes. Like that's definitely one of the best investments.
Yeah, me too.
They're like investing in myself. No, I think
Well,
probably
I mean, that fits in very well.
it
with,
does with the mindset, but like, I have spent a lot on, I think I worked out last year on like coaching and personal development stuff last year. I would have spent, 30 to 40K last year, which might sound ridiculous. And that would have been like all, a decent chunk of my business profit.
Yeah.
So I don't have, heaps of money sitting in the bank. So I spent all my points on travel this year.
But I'm happy.
But like, I think that's made me,
I
better,
agree.
stronger, more powerful. I think, last year investing in a website rebuild with Sparrow Studios.
Shout out to Em.
Amazing job that they
yeah.
did. I think it's early days, but we're already seeing it's already got better traffic.
Oh, it looks amazing. Yeah.
Well, it looks better, but it's, like I wasn't in a lot of the search results I needed to be in now. Like they've done all the SEO and like I'm in the search results where I need to be now. So I think that will be an investment that like continues to pay off.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we're just going into like optimization phase of how to make it better and then ads and retargeting and all of that type of stuff. But
amazing.
That was definitely a good investment, and the VAs and myself. We're gonna have 3. What about you?
I have a couple as well. Definitely my team, of course. I like the business just wouldn't even be where it is without them. So definitely team, a new VA team, but also my Australian team, because that is a huge investment for the business. For me, networking has been huge.
Last year I spent a lot on events.
I spent a lot on coaching. Like we've got the same business coach, but they do retreats overseas, going and networking, also part of the One Life Club, and just networking with other business owners. And, it's not cheap, but the payoff, when I look at the clients that we've signed on and where they've come from and how I've met them, so much of it has come down to networking.
People who you know.
Yep. Yep. So,
and it's the face-to-face relationships, because I know not hid, but like I spent, many years online after COVID in my business, and I almost went like, oh, I don't have the energy to like go out and go to all the events and network with people. And I actually, like I can do it, but networking, a day or a night of networking, and it absolutely drains me. And then I feel like I want to just go and hide in a room and not talk to anyone for like 4 days after that.
Yeah.
But like anytime I do it, like I'm amazed. Like the friends I've made in the industry the last couple of years, the connections that I've made, and the byproduct, the business that has turned into, the opportunities it has created. But last year I had to same. I was like investing in going to a few of the conferences and different bits and pieces. So it's a good one.
Do I have any more? I don't think so. Well, coaching, team, networking.
Investing in this podcast together.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that's it. Yeah.
There's some good investments. What are we going to invest in this year? What do you think is
this
going to make the biggest
more
difference?
Networking. I've realised that.
I think for you, and I definitely it's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think content, better quality, just taking it to the next level. So investing more in content. I think that's it. Yeah. Some more holidays. It's investment for me and my mindset.
Points.
Oh, yeah. Point hacking. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, good year
We'll wrap
ahead.
it up there, shall we?
Good year ahead. Thank you for listening again, everybody. And if you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe or follow on your favorite platform, because that helps us get seen by more amazing people like you. And if you would like one of your questions answered as well, we're very close to being able to collate some of your questions. You can send us a DM on the socials, or we've got a little link on our link in bio in the show notes where you could actually leave us a voice note. So it's like an agony aunt type thing. You can let us know what your current challenge or problem is. And I mean, we can't promise to be absolute experts and professionals, but we will give it our absolute best to give you a solid response on the air. And you can be anonymous or you can put your name on there, but we'd love to hear from you. And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.